All right, good to go. Just a second. Before we come on. Oh, internet seems to be slow today. Can everybody hear me okay?
All well, all good.
Okay, then. All right, here we are. Okay, hello everyone, and lots of love to everybody, and welcome to this Saturday webinar. And we start off. So today, the processes or a little bit more of looking within, how can we go deeper and deeper into awareness? So if any of you have done the program and you are still only doing the releases, that is, okay, I look at my emotions and I release, then the first step would be, I already have another webinar, which is all about how to increase your awareness. And there are many tools over there as well. So that would be the first step. And once you are done with those steps, and once the finger has come within, once the finger is within, and then you want to take it even deeper, you want to be in a place where you're more aware, more looking within, then this webinar would be relevant. So this would be like the step 2, only because this is all about pure time kya karo, what to do all the time. So if you are still half here, half there, the finger is going out and not coming back within, then first you follow those other instructions, which are about how to make awareness a practice, a more regular practice. So there is a webinar already on that. Awareness, some practices for awareness. And this one becomes when you become almost empty, when you are not sitting with 1,000 thoughts in a day. That is who we are. When we are sitting in the unawares, whatever the frequency is, if the frequency is fear, 1,000 thoughts of fear will arise in every direction. It doesn't even matter, no matter what topic we are thinking of, we will think with fear only. And then because we are unaware, we just keep looking into the topic and not into the frequency. And then comes the step where firstly some topic will happen, and then we will move around a little bit in the topic, and then suddenly it will strike us, what am I feeling? Oh, this is my fear frequency at play. And when I can think of that as my fear frequency at play, then the observation has happened, the transformation of that frequency can begin. Then there comes a time when you look at everything around and you are able to see the play. You are able to see the play in everything. Things don't bother you as much. You don't have to immediately run to the candle as much. You don't even have to look at, oh, have I turned the finger within? Have I turned the finger within? It automatically happens. Outside something happens, you give a first response, and then immediately it strikes you. If not immediately, in a few minutes, in a few hours, it strikes you that here you haven't looked at your frequency. But even as you haven't looked, life is going on okay. You are pretty much moving along, you are flowing, and now comes a point where you want to look at the frequency even deeper. So as we do that, so some of the things that have happened with me, some of the things that I received messages for, I take my guidance, and these days on the EM30 program, I kind of, after the groups are formed and everybody goes to their rooms, I'm guided to speak out my own messages that I have received for the many years. So I have about 30, 40 registers. And out of that, whatever seems relevant, that register, I speak out some messages, and those messages are relevant for each and every one of us on our journey. Even when I listen to the same message, sometimes it gives me a deeper understanding of what I need to remind myself of. And so one of these days I was going through an old book, and it gave me, a few pointers as to, look, you have to be so deep. You have to look at yourself so intensely. You have to look at every every breath and whatever your thought is, and then just simply be aware of the frequency that you're in. You don't have to change it anymore because none of the frequencies scare you. And that's the transformation, that's the transition. First, when people come to me and they are sitting in fear or they are sitting in lack, I tell them release, release, because they're sitting in so much fear or so much lack that they cannot see beyond it. They cannot even see that it's just a frequency. They own that fear too much. And so at that point in time, I tell you, release, release. I give you tools to release. The positivity process is a beautiful way to be able to become aware and to release. I give you the awareness tool that keep looking at everything and saying, okay, go underneath into the frequency. And then I tell you, okay, now all the fingers have to come within. What has that person done? What is happening over there? No. As something is happening over there, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? Be the only question. And from that space, you get deeper and deeper into knowing what all energy field you are carrying, what all frequencies are there in your energies. And therefore, the transformation already happens. As soon as you see, half the work is already done. And then you allow and accept that frequency to be. Now you are no longer running away because it doesn't scare you. Okay, I'm sitting in lack. It's okay to be sitting in lack. It's just an experience. These words that I say all the time then begin to come to you, and you are okay to be in that experience. And sometimes, even though we are in so much high awareness, suddenly when unawareness comes by the bucket full, we forget and we are not okay to be in that experience. But the awareness takes over rather quickly. And we have so many tools to bring us to more awareness, more awareness. And so a few of the things today also, how to get into even more awareness. So I begin with this message that I had read just a few days ago out to everybody, and it just made me laugh because it was a lesson in grammar. It was a lesson in grammar. It was name, place, animal, things. What are these? These are nouns. Name, place, animal, things. And then just as I was looking at what I had written, name, place, animal, things, and the guidance came saying, this is not a grammar lesson. This is actually a lesson to show you all the places where you create attachments, all the places where you cling, you create attachments. So here is the thing, name, your name, some other name, whatever name it is that you have in mind, it creates an attachment. My name, this is my name and I have to bring my name out. I have to do this to make my name the most successful or whatever. My name is the one that is going to bring me to shame also. So name is one of those where attachments are created. Places. In terms of places, we create attachments to places that we call home, that we call office, that we call mother's home, father's home, something or the other. This is my room. Even that becomes a place. And then you create attachments. My room, my house, my home, my office, whatever. We create attachments. You know where we go with those attachments, like, I don't need to repeat it, but yet attachments, the link is to hurt. Whenever attachments happen, they will happen, and then there will be expectations. If this is my home, this should stay my home forever. If it doesn't stay my home forever, then of course I will have attachment to it. I will feel so hurt when I have to move away from that place. So name, place, animal, of course, we create so many attachments with the animals around us. And then there you go. As and when those animals are no longer with us, how much hurt, how much attachment, how much hurt we have to go through. So name, place, animals, things, of course, all the things that we are attached to, your bank account, your jewelry, your car, blah, blah, blah. The list is endless. And again, an attachment will make space for hurt frequency to play. So this is not a lesson in grammar. This is a lesson in attachments, where all we create attachments. And then can we look at, just let me mute everybody, whoever is right now not on mute. Okay, everybody went back on mute. This happened after a long time. So yeah, so all the places where we are sitting in attachment, those are all the nouns. So in your sentences, in every sentence that comes from your mouth, can you become that aware to be able to break apart that sentence? So, and take a look at the noun that you are using. You know, every sentence has a noun in it. And so take a look at the nouns that you are using and see whether you are attached to that state, whether you are attached to that person, place, animal, thing, and then to be able to look at it and say, okay, I understand, here is where I've created attachment. That's why I said this is all of a place where you go so deep that you can be aware of every sentence, every thought that's coming to you, to be able to look through every thought to see, are you holding any attachment? The next comes adjectives. Adjectives are something that we use to define and to describe the name, place, animal, things. And so something is beautiful, something is ugly, something is pretty, something is bad, something is right, something is wrong. Where all are you creating judgments, and how are those judgments serving you? Are those judgments expanding you, or are those judgments restricting you? Take a look at that. So we've looked at the nouns, and then we look at the adjectives. When we become so aware, it was just happening 2 days ago. I was talking to somebody and I said, you know, so much awareness that when an adjective pops up through the mouth, when any adjective comes through the mouth, you become aware to see, okay, is this judgment of mine serving me, or is it making me more and more limited? If the judgment sits in mistrust, it makes you limited. If the judgment sits in, this is not right, this is, you know, this is a lie, this is wrong, this is bad, whatever it is, those judgments come from fear. Our judgments from fear will limit us because fear is a mind frequency. So they will take us to more limiting experiences. That's all it is. Please, let me just also get this clear. Somebody the other day, we were just, you know, sitting and chatting, and they had bought a new land, and they said, oh, I worked on my attachment completely, and only after working on the attachment, the land was bought. And I said, if you'd already worked on the attachment, what is the need even to buy some land? You know, why would you even bother? It's like, no, but is it wrong to buy land? Is it wrong? And I said, no, it's not wrong. Nothing is wrong. This is not about right and wrong. This is simply about what are the experiences that you are receiving. When you sit in a limiting place, you receive limiting experiences. And our journey, not just for me, but for all of us, the journey is to simply have joyful experiences, joyful. And the joyfulness comes not from owning A, B, C, and then looking after ABC. We think that's where joy comes from, but joyfulness comes from being free. And the freedom, the more we attach ourselves to things, names, places, animals, things, the more we attach ourselves to things, the more we lose our freedom. Just the other day, somebody was at my house and there was a party going on. And then they suddenly, right in the middle of the party, they said, we have to leave because we have this dog and the dog cannot handle that we are out of the house for more than 3 hours. So we have to go back. And I just smiled. This is what attachment looks like. This is not, we tend to think that from the pets, we get unconditional love. The idea of unconditional love might be known to them. It's not known to us. We have expectations from them. We have expectations that when we go into the house, then they will behave in a certain way. They will come, they will greet us more than our children have greeted us and all of that stuff. But when we do that, We are not forming unconditional love bond. We are actually forming a bond of conditions, bond that is filled with transactional love. So, and even over there, even the pets, I have a different point of view that the love over there itself is not unconditional, but at least, that is how it is, that they give you love and you can love them back. But then you become so attached that then all of the fears of losing them, of not being with them, everything just simply plays out, and that will create more and more hurt, more sadness. Hurt creates sadness. So more sadness in you from that. Otherwise, if you are simply able to take a moment and recognize them as energy as well, then they are energy and you are energy, the love is already being exchanged. It's from attachment that sadness and hurt are created. So taking a look very, very deeply at every sentence, and now we have the nouns in one place. We also have the adjectives. The adjectives are all about our judgments towards the universe at large. Are we making those judgments from an expansive place, or are we making those judgments from a limiting place? That fellow is a crook. Well, that fellow is a crook. Maybe, maybe not. But you know by now what I would say. That fellow is not a crook. He is reflecting your crookedness back at you. He's reflecting that. So if he's in your universe and if he's triggering you, then work is on you, not on him. He is in your universe, matlab there is some part of you that's resonating at that frequency. He has simply come to show you that. And if that fellow is a crook and doesn't trigger you at all, it's okay for him to be a crook, and you don't mind him as a crook, and you don't mind how he's leading his life. Now you have nothing to do. Now you are sitting in a place of joyfulness where everybody's journey you allow. That place is unconditional love. Unconditional love, not to that fellow, but unconditional love towards yourself. No matter who you are, no matter what you are in that moment, what frequency you are in that moment, the unconditional love towards you is what you are experiencing when you don't get triggered by an outside fellow who is showing you frequencies of mistrust or frequencies of hate or frequencies of fear, and you are no longer triggered by them. So no adjectives will come to you in this moment. And even if you do define him as a crook, you will find when you look within, that crookedness of theirs is not bothering you. You're like, acha, theek hai, okay. And if he has taken something from you and run away, even then you will be like, acha, theek, hoga, usi ka hoga. Whatever belongs to him, he can take. Whatever belongs to you, how can he take? Nobody can take what belongs to you. But the fun part is nothing really belongs to you. Only this energy, and that too, it doesn't belong to you. It's just a channel. And when you are the creator, when you are sitting in the space of that creator, you know that every frequency belongs to you. And then you can choose any which frequency that you wish to play in. So that's one thing. So the nouns and the adjectives have been covered. And then when you are doing something, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I have to do this, whatever. When you look at the verb part of it, it shows you the doership aspects. It shows you doership. I have to do this, I am doing this, doing. I have to go, I have to be, I have to blah, blah, blah. So whatever is the verb, whatever is it that you are doing, which is the place you are doing from. So when a sentence forms in your head, and again, I point out to you, you come to a place where mostly the mind is blank. You come to that place where mostly the mind is blank, and every once in a while, there'll be a frequency that will play. In that frequency, when you begin to look at every sentence, you can figure out what frequencies, what judgments, what attachments. So now try it out that when you wake up in the morning, I promise you, you will be thinking about something that happened yesterday or day before or another time. There'll be some thought or the other. We are sometimes so not empty. So whatever happened 4 days ago, but if one fleeting thought comes by, can you dissect it? Can you separate it into the noun, If any adjectives, then that. And if there's verbs happening in that, can you separate it? Can you see from which frequency are you remembering that event? That event, that sentence, whatever has just formed in your mind. It could be something very, very trivial. You went to a party, you met with 20 people. One person said something and that has stuck with you. Guess what? That is your slightest, most subtle place of work. Most subtle place of work. So you sit and you figure out, what are you experiencing? Why is this sentence even showing up in your mind? Why is this sentence repeating after something that happened 2 days ago? Why is this sentence still here? You will find, let us say, that somebody said something and you are feeling a little irritated by it. Normally, you would just say, Jane de, that somebody I don't even know, that person I don't know, that fellow I don't know, they just said something, Jane de. That would be an okay response, except that you would have still put the finger on that outside person and said, that person is funny or weird or some such thing. But through it, you haven't looked at your frequency. So when we become that aware that all of the thoughts in us, none of them goes unnoticed. None of them goes unnoticed. And at least you are able to just sense your frequency from that space. It might be that you got irritated. So take a look at your irritation. Take a look at it. Observe, okay, this is my irritation frequency. This is my irritation frequency that made this sentence pop up for me. That triggered me. And then when you sit in that space, you have to do nothing except allow. You have to accept and allow. So accept that, okay, irritation is the frequency that played up. Okay, I allow irritation. Now, no more releasing, no more letting go, because already as soon as we become aware, we are in the allowance space. One thought, 1 minute, if irritation has played out, so what? It's okay. It's just an experience. Irritation wanted to play out. It played out through this one person, but you are able to look at it, and as soon as you look at it, you are back to your musty place. Mind you, if we don't look at it, if we don't observe it, the finger is still outside, the irritation still belongs to you. You are no longer, right now, you are not shifting with having released whatever it is that you wanted to release. You are still accumulative. We collect more of the frequencies that we don't observe. Just simple observation releases it. We don't have to do any other releases. It becomes our way to release. So there it is, to be even more mindful, so mindful that we can take a look at any random sentence that pops up in our head. You try to practice this, even, and not every minute can be done this way. But if you practice this, let us say early in the morning when you wake up and you're still getting, while you're brushing your teeth, while you're doing something or whatever, while you're taking your shower, while you're sitting on the throne, if you practice this just to become so aware, what is the thought in my mind right now? That already will give you so many clues into what frequencies you play in minute by minute by minute. Minute by minute by minute, moment by moment, we play, we go through so many frequency shifts at one shot. But this one, when you become so mindful, it gives you a head start to come back to joy frequency right there and then. And that's a wonderful, beautiful start to your day. So that kind of awareness. The second piece, so this was a grammar lesson. The other piece that I do, just because there is awareness. Earlier, I would simply say, bring the finger within. That's the first part. If the finger is going to be playing outside, you haven't understood that everything is your frequency. And you're like, oh, that person should change his frequency. That person should change his life. That person should change in this way or that way. The finger is outside. And for that finger, the first thing that needs to happen is to bring it here within. But now let us say you are in that space where the finger comes in easily. Then to become more aware, a little bit more aware. As you go through your day, you are in your frequency, you are completely mindful about, okay, I am doing this from the frequency of joy, or I'm doing this from the frequency of anger. It's okay to be in anger. There is nothing wrong with being in the anger frequency. There is nothing wrong. I don't think I completed that story, or maybe I did, but it's coming back again. It's not right or wrong to buy a house or to do something, but when you've looked within, then the need itself to hold to something, that attachment to bring something home, that need itself will go away. If it goes away and then yet you bring something over and now you name it, this is my house, I worked on myself and then I went and bought a house. Fabulous. Just the fact that you bought something to your name, just be mindful, because if an actor has appeared, every once in a while, that actor or another actor will keep showing you your attachment. You might have worked on it for that moment, but you have brought in something that definitely, easily, you will get attached to. When you get attached to something, those experiences happen, and then it's okay for them to happen. Just because we are feeling hurt frequency doesn't mean hurt frequency is wrong. Hurt is just a frequency. When you feel it, when it bothers you, then again, get to work on yourself. Become aware at some point in time, and you will get to work on yourself. There is not a concept of time in the frequencies, so you can work on it anytime. You are on your journey as and how you please. You are the creator, whether in awareness or in unawareness. And whatever you create, it is okay. It is all right. I only simply give you choices. You can operate from this other space. There is no rule that you have to operate from awareness. Both paths are beautiful. Both paths move alongside. In awareness, we just have a lot more access to what we wish for. We have access, we have choices as to what kind of experiences we wish for, but no experiences are wrong. You can collect whatever it is you want. You can accumulate all the wealth in the world. It is not wrong. It is just that when you become attached to that wealth, then if it goes away, it is going to give you a lot of hurt and sadness. If you haven't become attached to that, then even when it goes away, you will still be sitting in masti. You would have enjoyed it when it's there, and you will continue to enjoy whatever is there, even when that goes away. That is the difference. That is the only place where awareness and unawareness play out in different aspects. If this is here, so what? I am masti. I will be enjoying myself. If this is not here, so what? I am in masti. I will still be enjoying myself with or without anything material. The second part, as we were talking about, so second part is all about being able to see when we are interacting with someone, when I'm interacting with someone, and on days when I'm in high awareness, when on days when I'm able to observe anything, because as I say, I live life just the way it happens. So there are some days in unawareness, and I receive those experiences of unawareness, but I don't sit over there, because now the house is a warehouse. I have choices. First, I used to sit in the unaware house, and then I moved my bag and baggage to the aware house. And now every once in a while, I go to take a trip into the unaware house, but then I come back to the aware house. When we are unawares, we go take a trip to the aware house, and we come back to unawareness, and the experiences are made from there. So when on days when I'm sitting in that aware space and feeling highly aware, I begin to even look at the other person. and no longer just, okay, this is my frequency and I know it. I'm coming from a space of joy. That other person, where is he coming from? What frequency is he sitting in? And then I take a look at, okay, that person is sitting in lack. And then I observe as I figure out his frequency. And I tell you people as well that when we begin to not pay attention to words so much, we can sense the frequency of others. Whoever is in front of us, we simply receive their frequency because we are constantly receiving. So we receive their frequency. Then when we are aware, it's a choice whether we want to operate from that frequency or not operate from that frequency. So we become aware. However, we might say, okay, that's their frequency. If there is a wish to change that frequency, again, the work has come on us. If there is a trigger from their frequency, the work has come on us. But there is neither a trigger nor there's a wish to change their frequency. Simply an understanding that, that's the frequency they are sitting in. That is the frequency that they are sitting in. Then in those moments of high awareness, all that I do is bless them. Just a blessing that, okay, may you find your path to limitlessness as and when you are ready. May you find your path to joyfulness as and when you allow. So with that, as and when, they are the Shiva, they are their own Shiva, and no push from my heart to say, oh, I must change this person's life. The minute I feel like I must change somebody's life, now I'm in my doership phase, and doership will simply just, I want to interfere in your life and make it better. Well, that interference itself doesn't work. Your doership belongs to you. That interference, they will move as per their energy frequencies. The best way to interfere in somebody else's life is to be at the frequency of peace, not at the frequency of compassion, not at the frequency of helpfulness, just simply at the frequency of peace. The frequency that you are at is being received by everyone around you. And so when I'm sometimes in that highly aware space, I will look at whoever I'm interacting with. And then if they are talking to me, sometimes, I'm in my webinars and people are talking to me. Of course, over there, they are here in my job. I have a role over there to tell them what their frequency holds. But if somebody hasn't asked me, if somebody is not doing a program, somebody doesn't want to know what their frequency is, I don't have to tell them. If there is a push that, no, I must tell them, otherwise something wrong will happen. They must become more aware. Then I'm simply just playing in, my doership, and my doership has come to release. They are on their own journey. They are their own Shiva. If they're asking me, I speak. If they're not asking me, I just simply move and be in my space. And with a blessing to them that may everything be received by you at ease, that ease and grace be received by you as and when you allow. So I'm giving only ease and grace ka blessing, and then they are ready to receive. They will receive in their frequencies right away. Otherwise, I simply just move after having looked at the world around and not being triggered by it. If you are feeling the trigger in any of these, then you please understand that the work is always on you only. When we come to a space of almost blankness, where we move for so many days in blankness, it becomes easier and easier for us to be able to observe these minutest, most subtle, single thoughts that just flash by. When we are unaware, these kind of thoughts, we wouldn't even be able to observe them because they would be a dime a dozen in a minute. But when you're already sitting in a calm space, any thought that comes about anyone, for anyone, we can look at it so much more deeper and simply simply increase our awareness for that moment a little bit more, change our energy field just a little bit more, bring more peace to ourselves just a little bit more. That's my talk for the day. Anybody has any questions? Let's look at the chat. When one has tasted very high frequency, and then you are in low frequency for months, despite listening and releasing whatever, you feel you are a slave of the frequencies because they don't change when you want, then they change on their own, then what do? So I don't understand the word high frequency and low frequency. I believe it's an adjective. The words high and low. So here it is. Every frequency is high and low. Every frequency is in both the spaces. You are in low frequencies of anger and you are in high frequencies of anger. You are in low frequencies of helplessness and you are in high frequencies of helplessness. You are in low frequencies of love and you are in high frequencies of love. You are in low frequencies of joy and you are in high frequencies of joy. So every frequency is high and low. And here it is that what is the difference between a low frequency of love and a high frequency of love? When we are in low frequencies of love, when we are in that frequency grid, we lack awareness. We don't have awareness of the frequency that we are in. Then the outside frequencies will create something or the other, and we will simply sit in those frequencies, keep moving in those frequencies. Those are what we term as low frequencies. So let us say you are sitting in low frequency of sadness or despair, and then the despair is just happening. You don't even recognize that this is just a frequency. Then in that moment, you are simply sitting in the low frequency of despair. Then there comes a time when you become aware. You sit in the frequencies of despair, and then after some time, you become aware that, oh, I'm sitting in despair frequency. That frequency is despair. However, you have become aware of the frequency itself. When that happens, now you are in the high frequency of despair. A high frequency of any emotion is coming with awareness. It comes with awareness. So I believe that no matter what frequency you are in, even if that frequency is sadness, but the minute you become aware, then that frequency is the higher frequency of sadness. That is how I have been explained what high and low frequency is. Many people talk about anger and despair and fear as low frequency itself, and then love and whatever as high frequencies. When you do that, when you are simply doing, terming half of them as low frequencies and the others as high frequencies, in your mind, the term low and high actually corresponds to good and bad, the reverse. So low corresponds to bad in your mind, and then the high corresponds to good frequencies. And then something becomes desirable, the good part of it, and the bad part of it is undesirable. Now, through the adjectives that you have assigned to them, you are simply running away from those bad things and running towards those good things. And you haven't accepted. The first part of the positivity process is acceptance. What is the acceptance all about? It's just a frequency. It's just a frequency. But if you understood that everything is just a frequency, you wouldn't be running away from it. You would simply be accepting it that, acha, okay, this frequency has come to play today. Let's see what all it plays in. I'm experiencing sadness. Okay, let me experience sadness. Let me just simply see. And from that awareness itself, that I'm simply experiencing sadness, you would be able to experience a shift in you. It does that. That's how the shift happens. The shift happens automatically, but through acceptance and allowance, and not from running away. From the way you are running away, well, this is the adjective part of what we just spoke, that when you look at adjectives and when you judge something or the other, are you judging it in a limiting way, or are you judging it in a limitless way? When we limit, no, I don't want bad frequencies. I only want high frequencies. I don't want low frequencies. No, that doesn't work for me. Well, you're simply resisting something. The more you are resisting, the more it will persist. And that is a conversation I have had probably 10,000 times. And here it is again. So the more you run from something, it's about observation and it's about acceptance. It is about allowance. You feel like a slave already. Look at the word slave, that would be a noun. And then you are defining yourself to be that slave. Then understand, what frequency do you say the word slave in? That's exactly what we were talking about, even though we were talking about just one word or something. But catch yourself in the adjectives, in the nouns that you use for yourself. As a slave, are you feeling joyous? I would think not. So if that word is coming up and you are describing yourself as that word, you're using that word to define yourself, please understand the frequency that you are coming from is fear. The frequency you are coming from is despair, because that would be a frequency of the slave, feeling the despair, feeling the sadness, feeling that you are bound by something. You are not free. You are not free. But over here, what needs to be done? It's just a frequency. You have 100 frequencies, but yeah, you can't shift to them and you are running away from them, because that frequency itself of running away, that running away is the verb part of it, and that is out of fear. I don't want to be in these frequencies, and that is entire part is fear, and that's how it is. So if you are sitting in fear frequency, it will continue because you are so fearful of the fear frequency. Let's see. You feel you're a slave of the frequencies because they don't change when you want. Cutely, you describe yourself as who? You describe yourself as this limited body and this desire that you have to change the frequency, but you are not just this body. You are not just this emotion. You are not just. You are the Shiva that is creating the frequency. How much of judgment against your own energy that, oh my God, these frequencies, they are creating from themselves. No, they're not creating from themselves. They are being created from you only. It is you, but the larger you, the Shiva you, the frequency, whatever that Shiva is sitting in, that is the one you are going to experience. So you might as well come into oneness with your own self. This is not a padosi ka energy field that is creating the energies for you. I am wanting to change my energy, but my energies are not changing because the damn frequencies are you. It's the larger you. It's the more bigger you. It's the more powerful you. It is you. Oh, well. So much fun. Thank you so much for this lovely session. Merci beaucoup. Huh. What should be done if you obsess about a goal? How do we obtain attachment from that goal? I have tried releasing the fear of not achieving the goal, but it keeps coming back. Okay. So stay with the goal. Don't let it loose. With what frequency are you thinking about the goal? What if it never happens? What if it never, ever, ever happens? Won't happen. What if? What if? Sit with the what if enough. Sit with the what if enough so that you can even look at all the future possibilities that you are sitting with. I'm going to talk about something that's opposite of a goal, but I'm talking about a fear I used to have. You know, that's a story that's coming to say, and it's not about a goal. It's about an anti-goal. I used to be almost scared कि कहीं ये ना हो जाए. You know, so like there's one goal and then there's an anti-goal and you're like, oh my God, this shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen. So these are my early days of, you know, getting into this path. And then people started to call me guide, and some of them started to call me guru. And as soon as they called me guru, I sat in deep, deep fear. Because as soon as somebody called me guru, the only people that I could think of were, you know, the people who are all sitting in jail. हर एक को जिसको भी देखो गुरु बनता है उसको जेल हो जाती है. That was the concept in my head, that anybody who is a guru will land up in jail. Anybody who's a guru will land up in jail. So when people started calling me guru, I was like, no, I'm not a guru. I'm a fellow traveler, I'm a co-traveler, I'm everything. And this is the truth. I'm a co-traveler, I'm all your reflection, except that there was so much resistance in being called a guru. So one day, you know, I mean, I was sitting with this fear, and then I got in guidance saying, Nahi, you've been chosen for this role. And I was like, no, I don't want this role. You know, why do I have to be a guru? Why can't I just be somebody else? Why can't I be the janitor? I'll be happily a janitor. I'll go clean everybody's toilets. I don't want to be a guru. Itna fear from being a guru. And so I'm sitting one day, and then, you know, the answers will come from somewhere or the other. So one day the answer came. The answer came from somebody, and she says, why don't you do your deeper release tool and at least take a look and release all these fears about guru? So I sat, and the deeper release tool, the tool which you can do for any event that has already happened, it's something that energies don't play in time. So you can also do for an event that you think might happen, and you can release your fears out of that. So I totally decided that, yeah. I mean, this is the answer. I should sit and I should just face, like, okay, what if I go to jail? Let me just put myself into jail. You know, let me just make my imagination such so that I can go to jail and be with that anti-goal, that thing that I hope that never happens, whatever. So I close my eyes and I'm thinking that, okay, you know, I've been a guru now. Police has come to arrest me, and then I'm taken, and everybody's saying, oh my God, like, look, Meena, we knew she was going to jail. So I imagine all of that. And then I imagine myself in the court, and I'm thinking of myself, like, you know, the judge is going to be so strict because here I am, I'm like this fraud guru, and I've been brought to jail, and now he's going to like really tell me off that, you know, you ruined the society, you did this, you did that. So I then start to imagine the guru speaking to the judge. And then the more I'm talking to the judge, and I look at the judge's face, and the judge is simply just, you know, nodding his head very sympathetically towards me. He's very sympathetic, you know, he's listening to me and like, you know, totally like agreeing with me on everything. Those were not the days that I understood energy so much. That's why I had those fears. But I was simply, so I said, oh, this is not working out. The judge is not going to behave this way. The judge is going to be very strict. And so I'm not able to imagine properly. Let me just move straight to the prison because, you know, I'm going to jail. If I'm a guru, I'm going to jail. So let me just go be there and imagine that. So I imagined myself over there in jail, that I'm totally sitting. But when I'm looking at myself in jail, like even though I was trying to imagine, like, you know, budhiya chakki piecing, I was trying to imagine that that's going to be how it is. But even as I was trying to imagine, all that would come to imagination is that I'm sitting and people are sitting all around me. Like there are people, like there's the prison people, there's the fellow, you know, the colleague convicts and all of that. And then there is even the jail people, the staff, and they're all sitting around me and they're listening to me. And I was like, what the hell is happening? Why is this happening? And then I was told that your worst fear, it doesn't exist in your energies. It doesn't exist. So stop trying to create it. But what if this happens and what if this doesn't happen? When I was able to take myself through both of those, what if this happens? And for me, it was an anti-goal. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. But you also, this can be done for everything. So from that day onwards, I just simply I started to laugh. I said, agar jail bhi jayenge to bhi kitna hi maza aayega na? Like everybody will be hanging around. It'll be a party. So even if the worst happens, it will still be a party. I will still be enjoying myself. All of you are invited to come and visit me, either as colleagues or as friends, or or be convicts along with me. But the whole point being that when there is masti, that cannot be the outcome. But that's because masti is the frequency. Now I turn it to you. Why is this story even relevant to you? Because I'm talking of an anti-goal. Because when you are thinking of the goal, are you thinking from masti? Are you thinking from masti? That masti can only happen when you have looked at all of the fears underneath it. So go into the future and take a look that you've never met that goal. For you, it would be the opposite thing. You have never met that goal. And are you going to be happy irrespective of whether you've met the goal or you've not met the goal? And the answer to that is very simple. Just as fear is a frequency, happiness is also a frequency. So you might not have met the goal, but will you ever tune into happiness frequency? Absolutely. At any point in time when you're doing tuning into menal energies and you are aware and you're able to take those frequencies and be in menal frequency, the masti will be there. So whether you receive that goal or don't receive the goal, the masti is there. With that information, change the frequency with which you think of the goal. Else, if you keep thinking of it from fear, whatever you fear, whatever you resist will persist. It's the same story. And then it is persisting not from masti frequency, but it is persisting from the fear frequency. Fears will keep manifesting. Not necessarily they manifest in that particular direction only, because maybe you will achieve your goal. Maybe you will. And then fears will play out somewhere else too, because whatever you resist, Okay. All right. Let's look at some more chat. A few days back, you had written, I'm not the creator or observer either. Is that the same thing as being in blankness? Yes, it is the same place as being in blankness. Can you tell about this in context of name, place, animal, thing? Yeah. You don't identify with anything, you're sitting in blankness. You don't feel your own presence. That's all it is. The context of name, place, animal, thing is the context of you thinking a thought. But when you are not thinking any thought, when you are still, that stillness, that is what we call blankness, you don't feel your presence. In that place, you are not the creator. You are not the creator, but that presence, that's such a subtle presence. That is the amazing frequency of creation. And from that is the highest frequency of creation. Creation is happening every moment. Creation is happening through fear. Creation is happening through surrender. Creation is happening everywhere. But when you are from that place of stillness, words, so not important, but you will be able to experience that complete silence. That moment of silence is that place of highest creation. That moment is that place of highest creation, because in that moment, you are not even there. There is no identification with anything. There is no body. that you are identifying with. There is no earth that you're identifying with. So, like that. When you are not there, you don't exist. In that space of non-existence is the highest moment of creation. That was the understanding that I had written about when that I didn't exist. Okay. You don't identify with them, or you identify. The moment when I identify is a different moment. And we are splitting everything only moment to moment, not minute to minute, moment to moment. A moment of highest creation can easily be followed by a mosquito bite, with which I will curse the mosquito, or with a mosquito sitting on me and not biting me, on which I will become the observer of how I am the mosquito. So please understand that we are not talking minutes, we are not talking hours, we are talking moment, and then the moment expands. So the moment can go on for a few moments, or the moment can be replaced by another moment. And so this existence, non-existence, existence, non-existence is just a play that can keep happening. By the way, I applied I'm mosquito and they're not biting me anymore. Thank you so much for this freedom, as they would bite me every day. So yeah, so this is the fun thing that I tell people about, that the mosquito bites a human. And so when I am simply in so much oneness with the mosquito that I say, I am a mosquito, the mosquito can't figure out that a human exists, because I'm vibrating in that moment at the frequency of a mosquito. And so the mosquito understands that I'm a mosquito, and then I don't get bitten, because mosquitoes don't bite mosquitoes. So that's how it is. So it's a fun play when you understand that everything is a play of frequencies, and that mosquitoes are at a frequency. I don't need to know what frequency mosquito is. I simply need to be within to say, I am everyone, everything. I am a mosquito. The mosquito is me. I am a mosquito. And most likely, if you are in that oneness place, the mosquito will not be able to figure out the human. How much fun can we have with that? Okay. Somebody writes, we have a choice that we have tuned to someone's frequency of hatred. Someone's frequency of hatred. If you have tuned to someone's frequency of hatred, it is your very own frequency of hatred, because hatred is just a frequency. I started to answer even at the first very sentence. Somebody has just written, I understand that we have a choice that we have tuned to someone's frequency of hatred, but there is no other someone. It's your own frequency of hatred that you've tuned into. So accept that you have a frequency of hatred and that it is playing up. Firstly, that acceptance that it is your frequency of hatred. Who's someone's frequency of hatred? There is no someone else. You're the entire universe and the mosquito. So if you could be the mosquito, you're definitely that someone else whose frequency of hatred is, by the way, your very own. We exchanged some words with such energies, now being aware that we were reflecting them, their energies. Yeah. You were reflecting them, their energies, but did you get triggered? If you didn't get triggered and you exchanged some words, it's totally okay, because you would still be 1% that is sending out the hatred words. The 99% of you is sitting with love. So then this topic wouldn't arise. However, I have a feeling that there was your trigger, which was in response to your hatred, which was being reflected everywhere. So if you were triggered by someone, the work would be on you. My work is to release the hatred I was tuned into and fill myself again with meanal frequency of love. Your work is to release your hatred frequency, because it's just a frequency and you can tune into any frequency again and again. You can tune into a lower frequency of hatred which is where you would say, what is their frequency, that one. Or you could tune into a higher frequency of 100, where you would recognize, oh, it is just simply my frequency. And because it's my frequency, I can release it anytime. Because that would be the play of awareness. In a lower frequency of hatred, you would put the finger on somebody else. In a higher frequency of hatred, you would say, ah, this is my frequency. And so this would happen, that you would be, my frequency is just a frequency. I can release and come to Meena's frequencies. Does this happen that the same person brings the same energy, whether I choose to tune into or not? That person's journey is their journey. But if that person's journey is getting you triggered, then definitely it's your journey. So the same person, you might have given the same role that, okay, each time I see you, you please trigger my hatred. And if that happens, well, it's your hatred. Now you can decide whether to tune into it or not. Whether I choose to tune into it or not, yes, you can tune into it or you cannot tune into it. Maybe the first response is that you tune into it. That's okay. But the aware response, as soon as it takes over, now it's simply a matter of choice, whether I wish to take over that frequency or I don't wish to take over that frequency. So what if you take over? If you've named it yours, it's okay to play in every frequency. It is quite all right to play in frequencies, have some fun, and shift your frequency. You're not running away from any frequency when you are aware. But yes, when you are unaware, you are running away, you are resisting, you are everything. Especially in husband and wife, we hear ki in dono ki banti nahi hai. Okay, when somebody hears words like this, which meant that somebody being you, when hears somebody hears words like in dono ki banti nahi hai. So what does that trigger in you? What is that triggering in you? All right, and then this one says, oh, it's confusing if he's showing my energy or am I reflecting his? If it's triggering you, it's totally your energy. 100 and 1,000 times these words have been said. I wonder where the confusion comes from. The confusion comes from confusion frequency. So yes, of course, if you're sitting in the confusion frequency, suddenly you'll be cooking up these stories saying, oh, that's his frequency, that's his frequency. But you can just simply bring the finger within and then the confusion will go away. Every frequency, yours only. Yesterday with Sanjeev about words, adjectives, very good depth had come. Please, can you repeat? No, I already repeated whatever there was to be repeated. And that's all there is. If you remember that part, please repeat. I can easily hand over to you and you can sit with the answer. I don't know what I said yesterday, and that yesterday was yesterday's session. And today, whatever needs to be said about adjectives, I can repeat something. Adjectives are good, bad, ugly, wonderful. And if you use adjectives, you are simply defining your judgments. Take a look. Take a look at your judgments. Your judgments will always be there because you are in the body. But as your judgments are there, are you making limited judgments or limitless judgments? If you take limitless judgments, they come from oneness. If you take limited judgments, they come from separation. As they come from separation, the mind frequencies, they will create experiences of separation. As they come from oneness, they will create experiences of oneness. And you have choices to create both experiences for yourself. I'm with kids who are doing the frequency meditation at beginning. They are with me. So please, can you say hello? Of course, I can say hello. And you can also unmute and say hello. Yes, yes, yes. Wonderful. Oh, where is this lovely place you are at?
We are at Garden, Palm Garden.
Oh, lovely.
One by one, we do a meditation. Meenal auntie is there. You can say hello.
Hi, everybody. Hi. So lovely. So wonderful. Are you guys having a good time? Mwah. So much fun.
So this is Meenal auntie, I say. They are
Oh,
doing the meditation regularly. Today they have come for garden, and I'm going to trigger the fear in them when it gets dark, and they will feel their fears, right?
okay. You can trigger the fear, but you don't be in fear.
I will release my fear. I drop my mind. I drop my mind. I drop my mind.
It's so much fun. Oh, so lovely.
Thank you. Say thank you, auntie.
Thank you.
Lots of love.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
So much fun. Okay. So yeah, you can trigger all kinds of fear for them, but you just take a look at yourself. Are you sitting in fear or are you sitting in mercy?
Definitely. So beautiful garden. This is a palm garden in Chikuwadi, Borivali.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. All right. We are done with all the chats. We are done with all the questions. Anybody else has any questions? Please feel free to write right now. And let's see. Just give me a minute. Okay, all questions done, all answers done. Thank you everyone for being here. Let's move. Okay. A deep breath in and relax. Just a deep breath in and release. And as you take the next breath in, becoming fully aware of your presence. In this moment, put your palms out, and be ready to accept and allow the frequencies of Meenal to come to you. Being sitting in the most amazing energies for the past few days, and I can see the shifts happening. And so, even though you are the same, I am the same in the body, all of us are lifting up in our amazing frequencies of awareness. And so, masti increases. As the awareness increases, the masti increases. And so, simply allow. Might feel something in your palms, just simply allow. All right. And then with the next deep breath, looking at the perfection of this moment. This moment as is perfect. It is as it needs to be. It is how it needs to be. The perfect moment in the now. Take a deep breath in and absorb the perfection of this moment. And now, take your attention to your body, to the body. This body of yours is in complete perfection in this moment. In this moment. The body is completely perfect as it needs to be, how it needs to be. It is totally perfect in this moment. And with the next breath in, take a deep breath and inhale the perfection of this body. Every now and then, these thoughts, oh, in my body, just if this was different, if my weight was different, if my height was different, if my hair was different, if my shape was different, all of these thoughts take us away from the perfection of the body there is. No matter what the hair looks like, no matter what the body looks like, no matter what the age looks like, height looks like, the body is perfect for you in this moment. It is as it needs to be. And so, thanking the body for this perfection of this moment, in this moment. I thank the body for the perfection that it is. Take a look around you to some of the people who are around you. Wherever your attention goes to your relationships, to your friends, wherever, family, wherever the attention goes, in this moment, that relationship is perfect. It is perfect as it needs to be. It is exactly as it needs to be. It is created in complete perfection. And so, with the next breath in, inhale the perfection of this moment for this relationship. So many times we look at relationships, family, friends, and our mind is filled with thoughts of how it should be, how it could be, how it should have been. All of these thoughts simply take us away from the perfection there is. Every creation in perfection. And so this beautiful relationship, every relationship of yours is with you only. And so this relationship is in complete perfection. Inhale in this moment the perfection that this relationship is. This relationship, another relationship, whatever comes to mind, it is perfect the way it is. Let your mind wander to the family, friends, the relationships that you have, and each relationship in complete perfection. Complete perfection. Exactly as it has to be. It is. Take your mind now to a few of the things that you own and your relationship with those things. The money, the house, the car, anything else that you think that you own. Take a look at them and your relationship with them. Everything that you put your name as mine. Take a look at your relationship with those things that you claim to be yours. And take a look at how you feel about them. Everything that has come to you, that has been received by you, it is in perfection. In this moment, inhale deeply and allow for the perfection of those things to come to you. They all exist in perfection in your life. There are so many times in your life that you wish for something different. You want more of this, less of that, different of this, bigger of that. Whatever you are looking for, right now, those thoughts away. Just only one thought, perfection. Everything that exists in your life, in this moment, right now, is in complete perfection. Each of these things that you exist with, they are in your life right now, completely in perfection. All of the things that you don't own in this moment, that too, totally in perfection. And so inhale the perfection of this moment. You don't understand the perfection. How could this be perfect? And that's okay. That is our limited mind speaking. The knowing mind, the knowing heart knows the perfection. And so everything in complete perfection. And right now, as we sit in the frequencies of Meenal, we are all heart, and everything is in complete perfection, and we know it. And so simply acknowledging the perfection of everything. You in perfection. Around you, the universe in perfection. Everywhere your gaze is put is perfection. Everything that you miss is perfection. Everything that you receive is perfection. Everything that is taken away from you is perfection. Perfection, perfection. In this moment, I am perfect. This moment is perfect. And I release myself, no longer existing as me. I am simply a part of this moment. I am the moment. I am only the moment. I am the whole moment. I am energy. I am energy. Om Mani, Om Mani, Om Mani. Okay, everyone. Lots and lots of love. Bye all. See you guys another time.